Let's talk about something that keeps a lot of people up at night. How much money should you actually be saving every month? You've probably heard all kinds of rules. Save 10%, save 20%. Save half your income if you're really serious. But here's the truth. Most of these rules don't work for real people living real lives. So today, we're going to figure out exactly how much you should be saving based on your actual situation, not some generic formula that doesn't fit your life. Let's start with the most famous rule, the 50-30-20 rule. You've probably heard of this one. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings. Sounds simple, right? And for some people, it works great. If you're making $60,000 a year and living in a city with reasonable rent, 20% savings might be totally doable. But what if you're living in New York City where a studio apartment costs $2,000 a month? Or what if you're paying off student loans or supporting family members? Suddenly, that 20% feels impossible. Here's what nobody tells you. The right savings rate depends on where you are in life right now. Let's break this down into real scenarios. If you're just starting out, maybe you're 22, fresh out of college, making $40,000 a year, and you've got student loans breathing down your neck. In this situation, saving even 10% might feel like a stretch. And you know what? That's okay. 5 to 10% is a solid start. That's $200 to $400 a month on a $40,000 salary. You're building the habit, and that's what matters most right now. Now, let's say you're 35, established in your career, making $75,000 a year, and you don't have major debt. This is when you should be pushing for that 15 to 20% range. That's about $900 to $1,200 a month. This is your prime earning window, and you need to take advantage of it. Or maybe you're 45, you've got kids heading to college soon, and retirement is visible on the horizon. Now you might need to save 25% or more if you started late. That might sound intense, but it's about catching up and securing your future. See how different these situations are? The same rule doesn't work for everyone. But here's the question you're probably asking. What am I actually saving for? This is crucial because your savings goals determine how much you need to save. Let's break it down into 3 buckets. Bucket number 1, your emergency fund. This is your financial safety net. Most experts recommend 3 to 6 months of expenses. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, you need $9,000 to $18,000 sitting in a savings account. If you don't have this yet, this should be your first priority. We'll talk more about emergency funds in the next video, but for now, just know this comes first. Bucket number 2, retirement. This is the big one. A common rule of thumb is to save 15% of your gross income for retirement starting in your 20s. If you start later, you'll need to save more. The good news? If your employer offers a 401k match, that counts toward your savings rate. So if you put in 6% and they match 3%, you're already at 9%. Bucket number 3, other goals. Maybe you want to buy a house. Maybe you're saving for a wedding. Maybe you want to start a business. These goals need their own savings plan on top of your emergency fund and retirement. Now here's where it gets real. Let's do some actual math with real numbers. Meet Sarah. She's 28, lives in Austin, Texas, and makes $55,000 a year. After taxes, she takes home about $42,000, which is $3,500 a month. Her rent is $1,200. Her car payment is $300. Insurance is $150. Groceries are $400. Utilities are $100. Gas is $100. Phone is $80. That's $2,330 in fixed expenses. She's got about $1,200 left for everything else. Eating out, entertainment, clothes, unexpected expenses. If Sarah wants to save 20% of her take-home pay, that's $700 a month. But look at her budget. After necessities, she's only got $1,200 left. Saving $700 means she's living on $500 a month for everything else. That's really tight. So maybe Sarah starts with 15% instead. That's about $525 a month, much more manageable. She can still live her life, see her friends, and handle surprises without going into credit card debt. Here's the key insight. It's better to save 15% consistently than to try saving 25%, fail after 2 months, and give up completely. Consistency beats perfection every single time. Now, what if you're sitting there thinking, I can barely save anything right now? First, you're not alone. 40% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency with cash. So if you're struggling, you're in the majority. But here's what you can do. Start with 1%. Yes, 1%. If you make $3,000 a month, that's $30. That's one dinner out. 1% is better than 0%, and it builds the habit. Next month, bump it to 2%. The month after, 3%. Before you know it, you're at 10%, and it barely hurt because you increased gradually. This is called the pay yourself first method, and it works because it makes saving automatic, not optional. Here's another strategy. Save your raises and windfalls. Got a 3% raise? Keep living on your old salary and save the difference. Got a tax refund? Straight to savings. Sold some stuff? Savings. This is found money, and you weren't counting on it anyway. And let's talk about what counts as savings. Some people think savings means cash in a bank account. But your 401k contributions, that's savings. Paying extra on your mortgage, that's building equity, which is a form of savings. Investing in a brokerage account, definitely savings. All of these count toward your savings rate. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes you can't save more because you're spending too much. And I'm not going to tell you to cut out your daily coffee. That's not where your money's going. The big 3 expenses that kill most budgets are housing, transportation, and food. If you're spending more than 30% of your income on rent or mortgage, that's problem number 1. If you've got a car payment that's more than 10% of your income, that's problem 2. If you're eating out 10 times a week, that's problem 3. Small changes in these big categories make a huge difference. Moving to a place that's $200 cheaper adds $2,400 a year to your savings. Driving a paid-off car instead of making a $400 payment adds $4,800 a year. See how this works? So let's wrap this up with a clear action plan. Step 1, calculate your take-home pay. This is what hits your bank account, not your gross salary. Step 2, track your expenses for 1 month. Every single dollar. You can't manage what you don't measure. Step 3, figure out what percentage you're currently saving. Be honest. If it's 0, that's your starting point. Step 4, set a realistic goal. If you're at 0, aim for 5%. If you're at 5, aim for 10. Don't jump from 0 to 20 overnight. Step 5, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer to your savings account the day after payday. Make it invisible. And remember, the perfect savings rate is the one you can actually maintain. I'd rather see you save 10% for the next 30 years than save 30% for 6 months and then burn out. Your future self will thank you for starting today, even if it's small. Because compound interest doesn't care how much you start with. It just cares that you start. In our next video, we're diving deep into emergency funds, what they are, why you need one, and exactly how much you should have saved. Because before you invest, before you save for a house, you need this foundation in place. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.